Sergeant Key and I here reporting for duty, and today we're going to be bringing some more Evolutionary Sandbox Intelligent Design Evolutionary Sandbox game to the channel today. However, today we will be starting over because definitely in the last one we had some problems with, trying to grow everything on the side of a hill, which was a terrible idea. I should have realized by now. As well as, unfortunately, for this video right here, I actually lost all of the audio. It was a 27-minute video. It will not be a 27-minute video anymore because I'm going to be editing out quite a lot. However, I did want to discuss a lot of the things that I learned through today's video. So, one of the things that happened throughout this video is, well, I put down a shit ton of plants, like an absolutely ass ton. And almost through the entire video, I was constantly putting down new plants throughout the entire thing, because it ended up like in the beginning, the plants don't survive very well. They don't survive very well at all, and oftentimes we're dying quite a bit, and we could not sustain a good population of plants early on. I also accidentally put down some herbivores early on, but surprisingly, really surprised me that the herbivores actually lived through the entirety of the game. We actually have like a really sizable herbivore population going on right now, which is really great. We'll go ahead and show that off a little bit later. But yeah, so I spent a lot of time putting down plants. We put down a lot of bio collectors and things like that, or collectors to collect biomass, and as well as, some research stations and stuff. And obviously we still had a lot of plants die, and especially having herbivores in the beginning, they were eating a lot of my plants. So I did have to put down a lot more plants than normal, a lot of random plants, and I think in the end it actually ended up helping me out, because eventually some of those plants, were very good. They had good genetics from their randomized stats. So it was very nice. It was very nice. However, we did get really far into researching plant genetics this time, which is really nice. We actually got up to reproduction rate, which I think was like 10 into the genetic trait, maybe 8, which is really great. I was super happy getting that at the very end of the video, which is really nice, because obviously having reproduction rate up, I increased it by like 4 times what it normally is. So if I can have almost all of my plants be 4 times reproductive rate, then we shouldn't have any more plant problems going forward. I also learned that root range is probably the most terrible stat or genetic thing that you can alter in the game. You want to put that shit way down, because root range actually increases how far the roots of each plant can go, which you might think, oh, that's not that bad of an idea. It's a terrible thing, because it actually strangles out all other plants in the range. I was doing some testing off of recording before finally doing this video, and it just absolutely decimates plant population. It's a terrible thing. I literally put a plant down in probably like, it's hard to describe in game terms, but let's say like a couple inches away on screen, like plants were dying from those plants hitting the ground and growing. It was insane. So root range way down, reproduction way up. We actually got a biomass increase as well, which makes them a lot bigger, which is great. It allows them to supply a lot more food, which is fantastic. And we haven't gone into carnivores at all. I did put some down once to try to kill off the early herbivore population, but it didn't work at all. The carnivores just chased herbivores, and they were faster and got away, and the carnivores died, unfortunately. I was really surprised that the freaking herbivores survived at all. I mean, I guess I was just throwing down enough vegetation for them that eventually it was all A-okay, which is great. But I think that's about it. All that happened. We did get one research trait into herbivores, which is really great. It was a pretty basic trait, though. It wasn't anything excited. Like, I think the first trait you get in plants is height, which is kind of cool, because having tall plants all over your map is actually pretty dank. But other than that, it's really not that much. The first trait that we got for herbivores at the very end was freaking max speed of the herbivores, which I was like, that's lame as fuck, which is probably I'm assuming we're gonna have to put max speed down on herbivores, because when I put carnivores down there, carnivores were either really slow or herbivores are just really fast without putting their stats down. So we're gonna have to definitely be doing that, putting their stats down and things like that, make them a little bit easier to catch for when we eventually, which is probably still quite a bit away, before we eventually introduce carnivores, which I think are probably gonna be quite a bit away, because we're gonna have to get a super sizable herbivore population before I'd even consider that. Since just judging by how quickly plants die and things like that, just from a little bit of herbivores. But I'm assuming maybe reproductive rates of herbivores is probably also in the genetics traits somewhere, and we'll be able to alter that. So we'll be able to feed any carnivore generation thing that we do in the future. Anyways, I think I've gone over just about anything that happened in this video. It really sucks, because now I have this, almost half-hour long video that I'm gonna have to edit down to like 6 or 7 minutes. But other than that, I don't think there's much else that we missed. I'll see you guys next time with many more intelligent design and evolutionary sandbox to come. I'm Sergeant Kenai, and I'm signing out.